And we're back. Thank you very much for joining us here on Voices of Santa Barbara for 2019. My guest today in studio is the infamous and notorious Gregory Gandrud. Welcome to the show, Gregory.
The dangerous Republican.
You know, according to all of the demographics the demographic boxes that you have checked off, you should be a liberal. You should be carried around in a sedan chair by liberals. Let's see, you're a homosexual. You're happily married to a man, and that man happens to be non-white. How did you become a racist, by the way?
That's funny.
And a homophobe.
Well, it's funny. It's like today there's something called intersectionality. And a lot of people haven't heard about this. So let's talk about intersectionality. What intersectionality means is that if you belong to a number of victim groups, that you automatically have higher standing. Your opinion is more important. You get to talk while everybody else gets to listen. So, for example, if you are a black, female, lesbian, transgender,
so if I'm a black Jewish lesbian in a wheelchair, then I should be at the top of the top.
Pretty much, right? Yeah. I mean, if you can check off more boxes, your opinion is more important. You get to stand up in the room and you get to talk first while everybody gets to listen. So you know what? I'm not interested in being a victim. I have always been interested in hard work and whatever it is I want in life, I'm willing to work for and pay for.
Well, let's dive into this faireducation.org lawsuit that Fair Education, which is a group of parents, teachers, and students, and concerned citizens, by the way, taxpayers, who have banded together to oppose a contract that has been signed, sealed, and delivered between the Santa Barbara Unified School District and a group called Just Communities Central Coast. Now, what does Just Communities Central Coast do? Well, they indoctrinate students to believe that white, heterosexual, you don't qualify for that one, okay, white, heterosexual Christian men who are competent and successful in life are responsible for all the evils in the world, and that what we should do is, and they use this word, dismantle them, dismantle everybody in that category. Have I got that right? Am I too far off?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're essentially a bunch of social justice warriors, and I find social justice to be an interesting term. You know, what happened to real justice? You know, regular justice, constitutional justice, American justice. Now it's going to be social justice, which is essentially a political system where instead of what's produced, how it's produced, and for whom it's produced being determined by the free enterprise system, it's determined through a political system where people get together and they decide that, you know, this victim group deserves more free stuff, so we're going to take it from one group and give it to another. So it's a very divisive approach to society. And, you know, originally was brought into the schools because of the idea that there was an achievement gap, that people were looking at white kids and brown kids and wondering why the brown kids weren't doing as well as the white kids. You know, and it's the reasons for that are complex. You know, a lot of it has to do with immigration and language and culture. And I think Martin Luther King would be rolling over in his grave. You know, he advocated a colorblind society.
Yes.
You know, where each individual is judged on their own contributions and merits, not based on the color of their skin. I was raised to believe that the color of one's skin should have absolutely nothing to do with anything.
Well, it has nothing to do with the content of your character, which is what Dr. King was talking about. Nothing
to do. So you've got these Just Communities people who have infiltrated our local schools. The Santa Barbara School District over the last 10 years has spent well over $1 million paying Just Communities. And then I believe they've spent even another $1 million beyond that paying substitute teachers to come in and cover for the regular teachers while the regular teachers are out at these indoctrination camps being run by Just Communities. And they truly are indoctrination camps because the teachers are forced to spend a whole week at these camps. And
wait a minute. You're telling me that while the indoctrination is going on with the regular teachers, the school board is hiring substitute teachers. So in other words, the teaching budget has just doubled for that week? Doubled?
Yeah. I think the cost of substitute teachers is actually in excess of what is being paid to Just Communities. And then, of course, the kids who are supposed to be in the classrooms learning
are getting substitute teachers.
They've got substitute teachers, and maybe they're watching films or, you know, something like that.
Yeah, they're watching Netflix.
And kids are falling behind. And, you know, I think it's so important to make sure that every child, regardless of their background, regardless of where they came from, what language they speak at home, what color their skin is, I don't really care. I want all the kids to be the best they can be to achieve their full potential. And what's so important is to make sure that they have the fundamental skills, the reading, the writing, the arithmetic, the ability to think critically, the ability to think for themselves, to develop into individuals, right? Not to just be tools of the far left.
Right.
And these Just Communities people have come into our schools and are literally telling kids that the oppressors are the white, male, Christian, capitalist, heterosexual, able-bodied, wealthy people, and that's the reason why they're not being admitted to medical school.
Yeah, I actually, when I was an adjunct professor at Santa Barbara City College in 2016, I actually sat through an indoctrination session conducted by Just Communities Central Coast. What happened was the outgoing president, Lori Gaskin, who was shown the door by the trustees because she screwed up all the finances of the college and lost an important measure to replace the crumbling student services building. Anyway, at the general faculty meeting, which occurs every single semester, the entire morning session, about 2.5 hours, was turned over to the indoctrinators from Just Communities.
And what did they tell you?
They told me, well, the first thing they told me was that, your time is, if you are a white, heterosexual Christian male, your time is up. It's time for you to sit the hell down and shut up and listen. You are an oppressor of the minority groups and women and blacks. And
you and your white privilege.
Yes, you and your white privilege.
Yeah. The only reason you're not shot by the cops on your way home
is because I'm white.
Is because you're white.
That's right.
Yeah.
If I had a machine gun pointing out my window, I wouldn't be shot by the cop because I'm white.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the logic of this is so weird.
It's absurd.
It's warped. It's really it's racism and bigotry in reverse. It's reverse bigotry, reverse racism. Of course, I don't even use the word racism because there are no races in human biology, but that's another problem. Anyway, so I sat through this session. And the professors I was with, this is held in the gymnasium at Santa Barbara City College every beginning of every semester. I looked around the table, and people were just horrified that first of all, we could not say anything. And that was their first point. The indoctrinators, they said, you just have to sit here and shut the hell up. And so we did, and we were waterboarded for 2 hours.
Well, it seems that these school districts have become hostile work environments where you've got a situation where teachers who are supposed to be free to speak their own minds are told that they can't say anything about this, and that their jobs are at risk. You'll be fired as a teacher.
It's even worse than that, Greg.
You'll be ostracized.
But it's even in my evaluations by my former department chair. His biggest gripe was, I don't make students feel welcome in certain categories. And I said, am I driving a welcome wagon bus? I thought I was hired to teach philosophy, not to drive a welcome wagon bus. He said, well, we have to be sensitive to the feelings of marginalized and oppressed students and underrepresented groups. And I go, what the hell is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Are you a maniac? Are you crazy? I'm here to teach philosophy, not I'm not a psychiatrist. There's the point. They want teachers now to be therapists.
Yeah.
Therapists.
Yeah, and they want them to submit diversity reports about what they've done for promoting diversity.
Yeah. And
not diversity of thought. There is no diversity of thought.
Right.
What they want to do is promote diversity of skin color.
Yeah, superficialities. Yeah. And because I would not drive a welcome wagon bus, and incorporate some diversity into my curriculum, I was sent to a diversity workshop, an indoctrination camp, where I would be indoctrinated into believing the social justice warrior credo, its religion, its dogma. And I told them, stick it. And I got a lawyer, and I sued him, and I walked away with $120,000.
Excellent.
We got to have lawyers. People shouldn't be sitting down to take all this nonsense.
Yeah, no, people need to stand up.
Well, that's what you're doing.
Well, and if you visit our website, faireducation.org, you'll find out all the details, faireducation.org, how to get involved. You'll get all the information. We've got links to the articles.
And how to join and be a member.
Yeah, how to join, be a member, how to support our lawsuit. It's all there, faireducation.org.
Well, Gregory Gandrud is my special guest today here in the studio of Voices of Santa Barbara 2019. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors. Okay, we're back with special guest Gregory Gandrud, outstanding leader of the Republican Party here in not only the city of Santa Barbara and Carpinteria, where he served on the city council, but also in the state, and very active in a new adventure that he has formed with a lot of the rest of us, is a group called Fair Education Santa Barbara. And the reason for that, if you listen to the previous segment, if not, I'll just give you a thumbnail catch-up on it. We have filed a lawsuit against the Santa Barbara Unified School District and one of their vendors, the Just Communities Central Coast, and what the problem is with that we're suing on is the fact that this contract that the school board has signed, sealed, and delivered costs over $1 million. Already been paid out. There was no competitive bidding. There was no sunshining of the curriculum. There was no public hearings about the content. Parents and students did not have a chance. Taxpayers did not have a chance to oppose this, to review it, to even understand what the heck was going on. So I'm going to turn it over to Greg.
The curriculum is secret.
Yeah.
They say it's proprietary, but my understanding is that under state law, parents have a legal right, to see the curriculum that is being taught to their children. And we actually have a copy of the curriculum, and we filed with the court certain portions of that, and we've got certain portions of it on our website at faireducation.org if you want to see it. They've got like this chart that says the oppressors are white, male, Christian, capitalist, able-bodied, wealthy people.
Heterosexual.
These are the oppressors of everybody else. Everybody else is being oppressed by the white, male, Christian, capitalist. So they're basically teaching people to hate other people based on their background and the color of their skin.
Right.
So we've sued for that, and they did not put it out to competitive bids. State law also requires that school districts bid out educational services, competitive bidding. There are open school board hearings where the public is supposed to, under the law, be able to come and speak and learn about what elected public officials are doing with our taxpayer dollars. And that was not done, and that has become subject matter of our lawsuit.
I'm holding in my, as Rush Limbaugh would say, formerly nicotine-stained hands, an actual copy of a document from Just Communities Central Coast, and the document is entitled "Working Assumptions About Dismantling Oppression." Notice the word dismantling. They're going to dismantle. How do you dismantle whiteness? How do you dismantle maleness? How do you dismantle heterosexuality? How do you dismantle competency and wealth? How do you dismantle Christianity? But they use this word, since those are the oppressing groups, I'd just like to read some of the working assumptions of Just Communities. As a philosopher, I always drill down to assumptions. That's where the wheel touches the road. Okay? First assumption, all of us are born without prejudice. Well, that's not really true. Biologically, we can trace that some people are predisposed to certain inclinations rather than others. Prejudice is learned. Well, that might be true. Therefore, it can be unlearned. Second one, oppression based on notions of race is pervasive in the United States society. This is part of their working assumption that, and I kept hearing
America is bad.
Yeah, it's a racist country.
Yeah,
it's a
America
racist
is bad
is
one of their presumptions.
Right.
They hate America.
That's
America is bad.
Right. Racism, I'm moving on to number 3. Racism is both a system of oppression, disadvantage, and a system of advantage and benefit. This is also true of other forms of oppression. Sexism, heterosexism. I love how they invent words. The left is very, very skilled at inventing and hijacking legitimate words.
Yeah, and like intersectionality. That's like a new word. When I first heard that, I thought, is that math? What were we talking about? Trigonometry, intersectionality? X versus Y lines, axes.
Oh, how about number 4? Number 4, working assumption. Guilt immobilizes. Ooh. Our work is about issues, not about guilt. blame, or shame. Well, if that's true, then why publish a table?
Yeah, why blame the white people?
Why blame white Christian male heterosexuals? So,
well, no, you know what, Mark, though, what they're really trying to do, their hidden agenda, and it's actually not so hidden because it's pretty obvious to me, any thinking person, is that they're actually trying to destroy our American system of free enterprise. They are against our American values. So they think that they can go in and infiltrate the schools and fill the kids' heads with all kinds of anti-American garbage because they want to actually remake American society.
Yes. Number 5 is the most juicy of all their assumptions. Listen to this one. This is assumption number 5 of Just Communities Central Coast. It's not possible to do this work without making mistakes. No kidding. Well, you've made a lot of mistakes so far. There will be times when we will get caught up in the very oppression-related dynamics we are trying to dismantle. So, dismantle again, that's that word. So they actually recognize in assumption number 5 that they're going to be making mistakes and that they're going to contradict their own principles and values. Now, what kind of a society, what kind of an organization will admit in advance that they're going to make mistakes and contradict their own principles and values? What does that say about those principles and values? What does that say about their methodology?
Maybe they're not very well thought out.
Oh, exactly. We will.
Well, and let me say this, Mark, is that Fair Education Santa Barbara is not opposed to implicit bias training. We're not opposed to closing the achievement gap. We want every kid to succeed in school.
Right.
We want our scarce tax dollars to actually go for beneficial curriculum.
Yeah.
Here we're spending $300,000 a year just in the Santa Barbara Unified School District. I mean, that's a lot of money.
People don't know about it.
Per student. And then we're spending more than that on substitute teachers to cover for the real teachers while they're out at the indoctrination camps. And I believe, and our organization believes, that instead that money should be going for actual enriching curriculum, whether it's science lessons, French lessons, ballet lessons, art, music, whatever, improving reading, writing, and arithmetic competence so that when these kids graduate, they can actually excel and succeed in life. They can get into a good college. They can succeed in college. Or if they go to vocational school, they can actually succeed there. We want all the kids to succeed regardless of their background. But basically what's happened is Just Communities and the Santa Barbara School Board have hijacked our tax dollars and are using our tax dollars to destroy America.
But the taxpayers don't know about it. They are now because of Fair Education.
Yeah, we're shining the light of day on this. This lawsuit has blown the lid off the entire thing.
I know. Many of our liberal friends and libertarian friends are outraged at messing with our kids' minds. Don't mess with our kids' minds, okay?
Well, a lot of parents are busy. A lot of parents are working not just one job, but sometimes 2 jobs. It's a tough economy here in California because of what the left has done to our economy, and housing prices are expensive. People spend a fortune on housing. So they're working really hard just to make ends meet, put food on the table. They assume that our public schools are actually working in their own best interest to educate their kids. They have no idea that our tax dollars are actually being used against them.
Right.
And now they're finding that out, and people are outraged.
Well, if you want to visit the website, faireducationsantabarbara.org.
Well, it's, no Santa Barbara, just faireducation.org.
Faireducation.org. There you go. And we also have a web page, too.
So that is the website, www.faireducation.org. We're on Facebook. We have a Facebook group.
That's right. And you can become a member by clicking the link of join.
Yeah, we actually want people to become members. We want people to support us.
It's free, by the way. It's free. It's free. It's free.
Yeah, it's free. Membership is free. We also are accepting tax-deductible donations. We're a 501c3.
Yes.
And you can donate. Take a tax deduction.
I've donated.
You too.
Donated.
I have. My corporation has donated. Gandrud Financial has donated.
Speaking of donations, we're going to take a little break here. Our guest is Gregory Gandrud, and we'll be right back after these messages. Stay